Good day, I am Drux Malan from Meridian Realty. I've been working in the Stellenbosch residential property market for the last 17 years. We always say years in real estate is like dog years, so you've got to multiply it by 7, so that's a long time. And I like to stay in touch with my clients in Onder Papegaaiberg by sending them a yearly property market update just to see what the trends are and where the market is going. To stay in touch a bit more regularly, I also do a semester report after the end of the first semester. You get better trends over the whole year, but it's good to touch base halfway through the year to see what the market is doing. Now, if we look at 2019, there was a drop of 4.4% in the average house price in Onder Papegaaiberg. So we moved from what has been traditionally a very strong seller's market with steady growth in prices into a buyer's market with a weak economy and all the woes that we have in South Africa. And then, of course, we had the COVID-19 pandemic hitting us. So in the first semester of 2019, there were 3 houses sold in Onder Papegaaiberg, ranging between 2.5 million for an older house just below Flamingo Street in that older part of Onder Papegaaiberg requiring a lot of spit and polish, up to 3.3 million in the upper part in Visant Street, and that was a house that was completely gutted and modernized, new bathrooms, living areas, kitchens, the whole works, and that went for 3.3 million. Now, in the first semester of 2020, we had 1 house less sold. There were only 2 houses sold. They were both on the upper part in the so-called Kleinvallei area of Onder Papegaaiberg. Prices ranged between the one sold for 2.6 million and the other one for 2.75 million. The only real difference was the size of the houses. The one for 2.75 was almost 300 square meters, the undercover areas, and it had a double garage where the other one just had a single garage. But they were both older, they weren't modern, but they were both well taken care of with no real work required unless you want to modernize. Now, if we look at the average house prices from the 2019 semester, the average price was 2.7 million. For the whole year of 2019, 2.76 million. And if we move to the first semester of 2020, the average house price between those two sold were 2.675 million. So depending on whether one compares semester with semester or this semester with last year's average, we're sitting with a minor drop between 3 and 1%. What trends emerged? Now, firstly, the COVID-19 pandemic obviously made it a much stronger buyer's market. So we have buyers that are very discerning, they are looking, but they tend not to stretch their finances to the limit. They have a price that they want to pay, they make an offer, and if that doesn't happen, they move on to the next house. We have a lot of houses in the market as well. At this moment, we have about 13 houses in Onder Papegaaiberg in the market. So a lot of houses actually remains unsold on the market. So if you want to sell in this market, it's not ideal. But if you want to sell, don't wait, because there's nothing indicating that it's going to look better in 3 or 4 months from now. So don't delay that decision, and the usual things when selecting an agent applies. You've got to have an agent that's got enough experience that can price your house correctly. It's not just a question of getting statistics of sales. That person needs to have experience to be able to have been in those houses so that he or she can compare apples with apples and not apples and oranges. So that's the first thing. And then it's always been important to be on the cutting edge of technology, but now people have various reactions to this COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, some people are more afraid than others are, so we are trying our best to limit personal contact to a minimum, and for that we use technology. So it is essential these days to not only have professional photographs, you also need videos and virtual tours, and we also have a very nice tool called Matterport that basically virtually builds and deconstructs your home, and from the comfort of your laptop, you can view the whole home floor plans, and you can even measure for your furniture before you go out physically to view the house. So we limit the feed-through houses, and that's something that buyers want and sellers expect, and we are on the cutting edge of that in Meridian. If you want to buy, there's never been a better time to buy than now. The interest rates are at record lows, And we've even had the odd client getting a mortgage for prime as low as it is now, -2. That's the exception, but it's a very favorable environment. The banks are eager to grant mortgages again. So if you want to sell, still important to keep your house neat. Do not overcapitalize, but keep it neat. Keep the garden neat, keep your security system working, have a house painted, and pretty always sells, even in the market as it is now. So that's the long and the short of it. I can obviously give you more detail on a written report. If you by any chance did not receive it and would like to receive it, you'll see my contact number and my email address on the screen. Hit me up and I'll send it to you with the greatest of pleasure. So, and please feel free to contact me if you want to sell, if you want to buy, if you require valuation, or even if you just have a couple of questions about the market. Thank you.